everybody, welcome to the Stock Car Spectacle. I'm Ian Jortson.
I'm Mike Gamble.
And I'm Nick Kinsel.
And we got a very special guest with us today. We got the one and only Rusty Walrus. Welcome.
Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. I'm sure everyone is seeing your content on Twitter. You just post a lot of good stuff. So first and foremost, for everyone at home, what is your name?
Hey, well, you can find me on every social platform, even TikTok. I hate to say it, but it's at Rusty Walrus everywhere. Real name is Russell Cox. If you go to my Twitter profile, you can see my real name and my kind of alias. And I don't really know the origin story on Rusty Walrus. I mean, I kind of have an idea. It goes all the way back to like probably the Xbox 360 gamer tag days. And it's just something I stuck with. I didn't know I'd be doing podcasts or like doing stuff like this. So I just kept the name and here we are.
Hey man, I love it. It kind of goes back to the Crash Bandicoot days of Rusty Walrus on there.
I played all those, but that's like the only one I haven't played. So I missed out on that one.
Okay, well, yeah, you got to go back and play that, and yeah.
It's kind of awkward. If you ever put my name into Google, you get Crash Bandicoot and then something a little bit more explicit, and then you have me down there too. So it's we're slowly climbing the algorithm a little bit. Right? I wish I would have looked into that too before this whole thing.
Yeah. All right. So can you kind of tell us a little bit about what it's like broadcasting for the NASCAR Heat League?
Oh, I'll tell you what, I'm sure you guys have seen, all you gotta do is tune in for 5 seconds. It's my excitement it's genuine. It's the most insane experience in the world. I'm just a really, really big fan of NASCAR like you guys, but I'm also just a huge supporter of eNASCAR. And I'm telling you, when the camera comes on, the lights turn on, and it's like race day, it feels like every single race is like you're calling a championship event or the Daytona 500. It feels real because you know the drivers, you know what it takes to get into these races, but also like behind the scenes, there's so many stakeholders. It's like you got NASCAR, you got the RTA, you have sponsors. It's like you feel like you're like legit on Fox or NBC, and all that pressure really, really gets to me. So with my inexperience, it makes me extremely nervous every single show. And I'm telling you, I like black out as soon as we go live, stumble over every word, but it's there's nothing like it. It's the most fun thing I get to do right now. I'm just absolutely privileged to be part of it. If they never call me back again, I'm happy with it. I mean, I'm not happy with it, but I'm happy I got that experience. It was so much fun. But and I'll tell you what, working with Hannah, she's an absolute professional. She makes it look easy. You could put any idiot up there in the booth. Anybody, like literally anybody could sit next to Hannah and you would look like a pro. She's that prepared, that good. So nothing but great things to say about the Hannah and just the whole production team. We've had some hiccups here and there due to COVID, kind of some technical issues, but hey, we're working it out and we're working our way towards, I believe, season 3 of the Pro League. So I just can't wait to see what's next, because I don't know how much I can say at this time, but there is a future to this to motorsport games that's not NASCAR Heat 5. NASCAR Heat 5 is real fun right now, but we got something fun coming in the future.
Oh,
nice. Well, listen, Rusty, man, I've tuned into a couple of your guys' broadcasts. You're way underselling yourself. You do pretty damn good yourself. So don't get me wrong. All respect to Hannah Newhouse, but you do pretty good too. So, but hey, listen, I'm intrigued. So I know our listeners are. Can you give us a little more history? How'd you get into motorsports games to begin with?
That's another really interesting question. It happened kind of naturally, casually. I don't even know. I think the best way to start is I used to stream NASCAR Heat 3, NASCAR Heat 4, NASCAR Heat 5. So I was kind of a part of their like influencer program. So I was a part of the community a little bit. And then for the Pro League Season 2, I tried to qualify to get into the Pro League. Well, I didn't actually try to get in. I just wanted to see where I would stack up. And with the setup some of the guys provided me and me just putting in a lot of practice, I kind of put myself in that top 50 conversation, which you need to be in the draft or into the qualifier races. So I somehow got into the qualifier races. And I guess for whatever reason, I caught the eye of maybe Jay Pinnell, maybe some other people involved at Motorsport Games. And they thought there might be a potential for me to make content for the Pro League. So I just kind of answered some emails. And then next thing I know, they say, hey, do you want to do it was like a preseason test broadcast. Do you want to show up and do that? And I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Because it was going to be Adam Mackey and Hannah Newhouse. And then I'd be like the third guy who would like I guess in my mind, I'd envision speaking every 10, 15 minutes, like just for 30 seconds at a time, kind of like a pit road reporter or something. And I'll tell you what, for whatever reason, those two had scheduling conflicts like 5 minutes leading up to the show. And I had to, first time in my life I've ever called a race, I've ever done anything broadcast wise. And I did two races, two practice races. And it's kind of history from there. And it kind of like week by week, they kept bringing me back. But yeah, that's how it started. It's just getting involved with the streaming and then trying to qualify as a driver. And then, I don't know, it's weird. I'm telling you, I don't know. It's just said yes to the opportunities.
I couldn't even imagine that. Like 5 minutes before, all right, we'll do it live, pal.
you should have saw me. Like I'm telling you, like it's like I'm sitting there, like of course, that's what would happen. It's like perfect. Let's go. Let's just have fun with it. And it was the worst broadcast of all time. I'm not gonna lie, it was the worst thing in the world. It was funny.
I'm sure it gave you a whole lot of experience, just kind of going into the whole thing. So, kind of going back to the whole Rusty Walrus name, were you ever like a big fan of Rusty Wallace?
No. So that's another kind of just funny story. My dad was a Dale Earnhardt fan. And I just remember as a kid, like my dad just not liking Rusty. So like, I kind of would casually watch races with him every once in a while. And I remember just Rusty, he never liked Rusty. And then I became a Tony Stewart fan. And I just never liked Rusty Wallace as a Tony Stewart fan. Like my favorite incident is I think it was Auto Club 2003 or 2004, where Tony kind of like body checked Rusty up into the wall, and then Rusty eventually crashed out and then cut like a really, I think, iconic interview, kind of ripping Tony apart. But never been a Rusty Wallace fan. I think I kind of just was looking for like an alias or something with a twist on the NASCAR name identity. My real name is Russell, so just spun Russell into Rusty, and I don't know where the Walrus came from, but yeah,
that's a badass name. That's for sure.
Yeah, it really flows.
Yeah, it kind of lets you know right away it has a little bit of that NASCAR twist, so that's kind of why I stuck with it.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, absolutely. So your Twitter profile picture is you holding up a Noah Gragson diecast like it's a telephone. So can you kind of tell us where did the fandom for Noah Gragson come from?
Oh, I mean, how much time do we have?
Yeah, right.
I'll tell you the quick story on the picture of the phone. So this was I just recently started collecting diecast. I'm sure we'll get into that in a little bit, but just the last couple of years I started buying them again, and I didn't think the Switch car would sell out. I wanted to see what it would look like before I bought it, and as soon as it went live to public, it was completely sold out. So I just replied to Plan B. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. And they messaged me back when that Color Chrome opened up and I bought it, and I got super excited. I wasn't too happy about spending the extra $15, but car looks awesome in person. But so it arrived in the mail. I'm like, I'm not just going to post a picture of it, normal one, and put it on Instagram. I'm like, let's have fun with it. And I did the phone thing and it turned in my profile picture. But yeah, the history with Noah, I think a lot of Noah Gragson fans can relate to the story. Is he's very, he engages with people on social media and in person. So I started my YouTube channel in 2018, and I remember this. It was after the Canadian Tire race where he had the incident with Todd Gilliland, and I did a little post-race review like I did in my car after every race. And I'm like, I just got so excited kind of reviewing, talking about the finish of that race. And the next day, Noah left a comment on that video, like saying like, awesome, just love your passion for the sport or whatever. And like kind of from there, I'm like, all right, this guy showed up on my video. I have like 10 subscribers. It kind of validated me. I felt like a little bit like, hey, there's actually people out there. You never know who's watching. So it kind of made me take it a little bit more serious as kind of a hobby and kind of I don't know, self-development deal, which is kind of what my goal was. But and then I saw him at a couple of different racetracks, 2019. And he would talk to every single fan, take time for every single kid, take pictures, sign autographs, talk, hang out. Like literally, no, I've never seen like really any other driver do that. So when I saw that in person multiple times, I'm like, this guy is kind of the future of the sport. Whichever series he's in, I'm like, that's my guy. And then once he started, last year when he was wheeling that car, that sealed the deal. I was like, this guy needs to be in the sport for a long time. So it's just more than anything, it's him as a person and how good he is for the sport. That's kind of where I'm at.
Oh, definitely. I mean, that's what, attracted me to being like such a big fan of Noah is just how
Yeah.
personable he is. Like I met him, I think it was 2018. We were at Route 66 drag racing speedway, and he was just doing promoting for Chicagoland Speedway. And I just
Yes.
run into him. I'm wearing my Noah Gregson
Yes.
KBM shirt, and he's just like, "Oh, a fan." I'm like, "Noah Gregson, what's up, man?" And then like we took a picture. He posted a picture of us on his Instagram, and then I became the biggest fan of him since then.
Heck yeah, dude! I hear that from everyone. Like he'll do anything. And I've seen him where he signs unlimited like diecast. I wish I remember the guy's name. He signed a guy's arm and he got it tattooed. Like it's so cool. Like it's so cool.
Yeah, I saw that.
I remember seeing that. Yeah.
I remember there was this kid, me and Nick, we were at Iowa Speedway in 2019. There was this kid wearing like this knockoff Noah Gregson shirt, and like Noah signed it, and he was like, "I don't care that it's knockoff. That's still awesome."
I might have been at that race. I have a picture of him signing autographs down the line. And if you were doing that driver intro area, that's where I was at for one of those races. So I wonder if I was at that. That's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah. We were, what was it, the weekend where Chase Briscoe and Sam Mayer won in 2019.
Oh, I was at the other one with Christopher Bell.
Oh, okay.
So, all right, Rusty, you've given us really awesome history how you got into Noah.
Yeah.
But where did your NASCAR fandom and love start?
I grew up as a diehard kind of baseball and basketball fan. And I think my introduction to the sport, my first original memory is Rusty Wallace flipping at Talladega. I can just imagine where I'm sitting in the living room and just the car flipping. I don't know if it was live or if it was a replay, but I remember that. But what really got me into it was the video game NASCAR 98. And I'm now learning that's how you get a lot of people into NASCAR is through video games. And it's just like, that was kind of my introduction. I just I ran a million laps at NASCAR 98 as like Dale Senior, just everybody. And then from there, it was just still kind of casual. Like I didn't tune into every race, but my dad took me to my first race, 2001 to Daytona. And I'm like every NASCAR fan, that first time you go up to the fence or you see the cars in person, just that experience, the atmosphere, everything about that for that first time. I just distinctly remember when the pack flew by. It's something in my head flipped. And I'm like, from that day forward, I'm telling you, I don't think I've missed more than 5 cup races in 20 years. So it's been an obsession since 2001.
That is a solid answer. And that's basically same thing. We're all from right around Chicagoland area, obviously not huge NASCAR country, but that's one of the main things that got me into it as a kid too, was playing the video games.
How many times have you guys been out to Chicagoland? What's your opinion on Chicagoland compared to other tracks? Because that used to kind of be my home track. I went for a few years. I'm kind of curious to talk to other people that have been there. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, so my first race ever there was 2008. I was like in 6th grade when my dad took me because he really wanted me to appreciate the racing, not as a kid. If I was like 8 years old, I'm not gonna be paying attention the whole time. But then saw Kyle Busch win there.
Can we talk about that finish? Do we have any Jimmy Johnson fans on here?
No. But I hated Kyle Busch back in the day. So I was pretty devastated to see that. And then saw David Ruderman win in 2010. That was weird.
Yep.
And then I kind of fell out of watching NASCAR for a few years. And I went back like 2016 and then went ever since the final race in 2019.
Yeah, same. I'm a little older than these two. I'm the papa of the stock car spectacle. So I went to my first race was Xfinity race with my uncle and my cousin in like 2004. I think Terry Labonte's son Justin won it too. That was his first win. Yeah.
Yep.
So I went to that, but like like you said, I grew up a traditional sports guy, like baseball, football, basketball, hockey. I played baseball and hockey my whole life, and my dad still to this day is like NASCAR. Okay. So I didn't start going until I started dating Nick's oldest sister. That's how we met.
Okay.
And then we started doing the NASCAR weekends with those guys, and that's kind of how I felt like fully in love with the sport. You do that full weekend, we'd camp out right off the backstretch. It's like, this is the greatest thing in the world. I don't know how everyone doesn't love this.
Yeah, for me, so I didn't actually start watching NASCAR until 2011. The 2011 Daytona 500 was the first race that I ever really sat down and watched. Because honestly, before that, I was one of those people who was just like, NASCAR, I don't think I can get into this. left turns. I don't think I can get into this. I watched that 2011 Daytona 500, and I was like, what have I been missing out on? I actually became a Trevor Bayne fan after that. So
That's cool.
I was really sad to see him lose his ride in 2018 and everything. That sucked. But yeah, my first race at Chicagoland was the next year, 2012, when Brad Keselowski won the opener. And my first time walking into that garage area, we actually snuck our way into the garage area. I was my dad, and we got off the infield bus and everything, and we just kind of followed a pack into the garage. And I was like, "Oh, this is badass!" Like we got pictures. I got a picture in front of Trevor's car and everything. It was so cool. Yep, went every year after that, and just really sucks to see it off the schedule now. Because I think the last two races we saw there, even the last three races we saw there, they were phenomenal. I mean, who could forget my job? And then Alex Bowman's first career win, that was absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
I think the finish of that 2018 race, the last 20 laps, is some of the greatest like NASCAR laps. Kyle Larson had no business catching Kyle Busch, but so then he caught him. And then he got in the wall and he fell back and it's like, oh, it's over. It's over. And then the lap traffic gets in the way. It's like, that is still the most mind-blowing, that last lap, most mind-blowing thing I've ever seen. I couldn't believe Kyle Larson got there. That's so cool you guys got to see that.
That's why I'm so disappointed that they took it off the schedule. You know, with all the mile and a halves, you got so many of them that, you know, the racing is one lane, or if we're lucky, 2 lanes. You got Chicagoland, every single lane was competitive. It's like, to see that off the schedule really hurt.
I agree.
And then we keep a track like, I don't know, Texas or something. And then we want to make an all-star race there too. So yeah, I see where NASCAR wants to go with things.
Do you guys know anything about the rumor of potentially debuting the next gen car at the all-star race at Texas? Is that true?
I heard that they wanted to kind of do what they did with the Car of Tomorrow back in 2007 when they did like 10 races with it. I heard something like that, but it doesn't sound like they're all the way prepared. So I could definitely see an all-star race run with it if they're ready by then.
That'd be cool.
That right?
Because I'm not trying to really watch Texas.
I don't think anybody really is. That track, they should have never reconfigured that track, because I thought we saw some really good races at Texas. We're talking about NASCAR video games earlier. NASCAR 14, Texas Motor Speedway, that was my track. I would be running 27 flats there. I loved that place. And then they reconfigured it, and then the racing there.
Dude.
We were just running one lane down there. It sucks.
It's so crazy to go back on. I mean, you see some of the clips float around on Twitter of like qualifying laps or old races at the old Texas, and it's like, that track was so good.
Right.
Like, or so much better anyway. It's so crazy how the banking, the speed, I didn't appreciate it at the time, but now it's like, I miss it.
Oh yeah, definitely. All right, guys. So let's get into the show. Let's start off with our Diecast of the week. Mr. Rusty Walrus, what'd you bring for us today?
I figured I'd pick one that I don't think anybody will bring ever on your show. I've never seen anybody. I'm looking at kind of my collection here. It's kind of, I would say it's a unique one for sure. I have I'll let you see it. I'll show it. We got the Tony Stewart kind of Coca-Cola. This is the car he ran at Talladega, but the thing that makes it special is the autograph right on top right there. That's the first and only time I've ever met Tony Stewart. And it was 2002 at the Mall of America. We waited in line. He showed up like 2 hours late. I didn't care. It was so cool. And I didn't plan on having him sign a Diecast at the time. So I ran up to like the Diecast shop up in like the third level. I sprinted up there while my buddy held his spot in line. This is the only thing they had. I mean, at the time I wasn't a big fan of the car, but just kind of the uniqueness of it made it special. But yeah, first and only time I met Tony was 2002, and then he went on to win the championship. So this one's kind of a special one for me. There's some other cool ones I got from my dad that I gifted him, but this is the one I'm bringing today, is the when I was obsessed with Tony Stewart back in 2002.
Oh,
nice,
man.
Is that the first smoke diecast anybody's played on the show? I could see maybe you playing one, Ian, but I think that might be the first one.
I think I've ran, because I have Tony Stewart's last ride car. I think I've played that one.
Oh yeah, you did.
Yeah.
I'm bummed I didn't get into diecast collecting until recently, because I want that 2016 Sonoma race win, man. That would be so cool.
Yeah. I got the 164 of
same.
That
Yeah.
one.
Yep. Same.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be a cool one to have, because such a legendary win with him taking out Hamlin at the final turn.
Yeah.
That was
You
awesome.
knew
as
it
good
was
as it
going to
gets.
happen.
As good as it gets.
Yep. All right, Mikey, what'd you bring for your diecast of the week?
All right, boys. So Rusty told us all about how he got to be a big fan of Noah Gragson. I feel a pretty similar story with a race car driver. Every time I had an interaction with this guy, especially on social media and at the racetrack, he always tweets me back, likes whatever I tweet at him. You know, we've had a couple meme wars. Also, like Noah, a little bit of a controversial figure these days. Coming up back-to-back truck wins. Got to go with my boy.
Oh,
Ben Rhodes.
Oh, what?
So
Hey.
We got a better.
Oh yeah, that's my guy. This one was actually a present from Mr. Ian, the 124 of when he did his part-time with Junior Motorsports autographed Elite. Pretty sweet looking car all the way around, I think. I love the matte black finish. So yeah, one of my favorites.
Yeah, that definitely looks good.
Yeah,
on there,
tell
buddy.
me about that car. I don't have no memory of him running that. That's a rare one. It has to be.
Yeah. So he ran part-time with Junior Motorsports, I think in 2015.
Okay.
I was listening to, he did like a whole interview on it on, I want to say it was maybe Gluck's podcast. And he was saying it's like he had first couple races out, you know, part-time, ran pretty well, felt good. And then he went like a huge lull in between his starts. It's like, oh yeah, but they all got better. I really didn't. So that's when he kind of went back down full-time with the trucks.
That's good to know. I never knew that. That shocked me to see the 88 there when he said Ben Rhodes. I was like, what is that?
Yeah, because I got that for you for Christmas, right? Or your birthday?
Christmas last year, I want to say.
Okay. Yeah, I remember. I think I found it on like Plan B sales or something. I was like, Ben Rhodes Xfinity Series. What the hell? When did this happen?
I also never knew that he ran that 88 car.
And let's be real, there are not a lot of Ben Rhodes diecast. So to find one that nobody knew about was pretty crazy.
I thought you were going to say
definitely.
Fans for a second there. I don't meet many Ben Rhodes fans. That's not a shot at you, anybody. I'm just saying he's not one of the most popular guys, I should have said.
But I'll tell you what, though, the thing I got into him for, kind of like you said with Noah, Ben was super cool with his fans and stuff too. I remember probably about 3 years ago, he was doing his own like little web series on Facebook, and he'd do like a Q&A. And then the thing that struck me was people would ask him questions, and there'd be like 400 or 500, 600 people in there, and it'd be like, "Oh, Sherry Johnson's asking about this. Oh, I remember I met Sherry at Texas 3 years ago." It's like he had a story for like every single person. Like, this guy's really cool.
Well, yeah, you want to talk about drivers having no fans. Like, look at me, I was a Trevor Bayne fan. Like, I would go to the racetrack every year, and if I saw somebody else wearing a Trevor Bayne T-shirt, I was like, I'm not alone. But kind of like both of you guys. Like, Trevor treated me with the utmost respect ever. Like I met him almost every year. I went to Chicagoland. I bought so many door panels off of eBay.
Yes.
I can't even tell you how much money that I dropped on all those door panels. And then what was going to be his final cup race at Chicagoland in 2018, I brought like 2 of them there. I set them up against the fence while they were practicing, and he saw it. He waved out the car while he was going out for practice.
That's so
cool. Then after practice, he came out to our little group, and then we just chatted for like 10-15 minutes. He's just such a nice guy. Like, that's why I like Trevor so much.
Hey, and do you remember too? He skipped post-practice debrief to come sign doors.
That's what he told us.
Pusha was kind of mad at him. Remember?
Yeah, he was like, because I saw Pusha qualifying, and he was like, "Oh, I had a feeling you were going to be here." Trevor told me he had to miss our post-practice debrief because he had to go sign some damn doors, and I was like, "That was me."
That's so cool, though. Fan for life after stuff like that.
Absolutely.
But I'll tell you, you would not think that Michael and that had fans until you go to Iowa Speedway. Half of that track is Michael and that fans.
Yep.
All right, Nick, what you got for your diecast of the week?
All right, so we are heading to Homestead this week, and when we talk Homestead, there's this one guy that always comes to mind when we talk Homestead. Probably one of the best at ripping the high line there. That's Kyle Larson. I brought out the 2019 McDonald's. It's the liquid scheme. I loved this car, and he ran it at Atlanta. It's the only Kyle Larson scheme that I actually have. And yeah, it's just a cool looking race car. I expect Kyle to go out on Sunday and compete for the win if he can keep his car out of the fence.
Out of the wall.
It always seems to happen to Larson. He's always fast at Homestead, but he can never stay there at the end because he tries to take it too far. But yeah, he's one of the best to rip in the high line, and I love this McDonald's scheme a lot.
Hell yeah, man. All right, boys. So for my diecast of the week, since we are having my brother from the Gregson gang come out on the show today, I had to bring out Noah Gregson's Safe Light Truck Series truck with KBM. One of my favorite paint schemes in the truck series. I still root for the 18 just because Noah drove this truck and just because it's such a cool paint scheme.
And I am also equally salty you played that because they used to sponsor Ben until they left ThorSport. So thanks a lot for that one, pal.
That's a cool one though. I've been meaning to try to pick up a truck, but they're pretty pricey, but I feel like they're only going to go up. So I might pull the trigger one of these days on one.
Yeah, they're pricey. I saw it on eBay for a pretty penny.
Yeah.
It was just sitting there. I made an offer with the guy that was like $10 less than what it should have been, but hey, it's still good.
You get it while you can. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. All right, guys. So now let's get into our review for the Daytona Road Course. It was a wild weekend, and we're going to start off with the trucks. It rained all day at the Daytona Road Course, just leaving the track nice and wet for all the trucks. And literally right after they waved the green flag, they all went spinning into turn one, guys.
Goodness. Yeah, that was a bad one.
Yeah. And then we got John Hunter Nemechek. He's showing a lot of speed with KBM this year. He goes on to win stage one. I think Kyle Busch found himself a driver, boys.
Wheelman, heck of a driver.
I think he needed to find him a wheelman because KBM's been struggling so much the past couple of years. So John Hunter, he needs to do some good work down there, and so far so good for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of like we've talked about on past shows. I think it's like a mutually beneficial deal. You know, KBM needs to get resurrected a little bit, and John Hunter really needs to succeed.
Yeah, definitely. And then bad luck for John Hunter Nemechek. After that, he goes on to lose oil pressure in his truck with 3 to go in stage 2. Luckily, he got those stage points and playoff point to help him out throughout the season. But yeah, that just sucks to go on and win the stage and then just have your race end because of that.
Did they officially say it was oil pressure? Did he run out of fuel or what? Did he get the truck back running? I don't even remember the update on that truck.
They really didn't update anyone on that. Yeah. I saw he had a pretty bad finishing spot, so I'm going to guess that the truck just wasn't running as good as it was in the first stage. And then former KBM driver Rafael Lessard, he went on to win stage 2. Good for him. He's looking really, really fast with GMS this year. Maybe that switch is what he needed.
Well, could be. You know, we had some controversial comments from Mr. Brett Moffitt regarding GMS. You know, sometimes there's certain drivers that hear stuff like that and take exception to it as well. You know, a guy like Rafael Lessard, like you said, he's looked like he got a shot in the arm so far and he needs it. And then you add some stuff like that. Like I said, sometimes that's a little more fuel for the fire. So good to see him running well.
Yeah, I feel like ever since he won at Talladega last season, which that was a heartbreaker for us Trevor Bayne fans out there. Thought he had that one. But yeah, he's looked good ever since that Talladega win. Really, I hope he has a good year for him.
And I just like seeing these guys get more laps, more opportunities to try to prove themselves. So it's cool to see him performing when you get that opportunity to be in a pretty solid truck. I really enjoy seeing that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, and guys, this seemed to be the race that just did not want to end. We had caution after caution, overtime after overtime. Ben Rhodes was even so close to getting the one to go. And then about 350 feet until that line, they waved the caution flag and they had to rack him back up. But then he got redemption and ended up winning the damn thing.
Listen, I'm still having heart palpitations from this one. He gets that close to the line. And then, because the flagman had the white, was getting ready to wave it. And it's like, oh, nope, let me find that yellow real quick. And he starts
switching so fast.
Yeah, he was ready. That was like ninja, like that was like split second. Like, oh, nope. Like he had like a whole thing and everything. And then if you remember, John Hunter was kind of just creeping and coming back in the race. I'm like, he's going to get right back up there.
Yep.
And then, of course, the one restart where he's going to get Ben will be the one where this is the one where it goes green all the way through. But Ben was on his restarts, got out front, stayed out front, and, they kept throwing restarts at him. He kept nailing them.
Yeah, he looked really good out on the track, man. Just absolutely dominant. And hell yeah, 2 wins in a row to start off the season for that 99 truck.
I just wonder how much Matt Noyce and Mr. TJ Majors are kicking themselves now after the start of the season.
All right, guys. So now the trucks are out of the way. Let's get into the Xfinity Series. And Rusty, this one hurt us. Noah Gragson, car did not even fire at the start of the race. Once car started going, he came out. He was 3 laps down, and he just had the battle all the way through, man. That sucked.
Yeah, as a race fan, first and foremost, I think you want to see the full field out there. But especially from a guy that says on Twitter, leading up into the race, that he's going to go from 26th to 14th or what it was, the exit of turn 1, says what he's going to do, and he doesn't even get the opportunity to go out there and do it. And it's like, as any type of fan, that's must-see TV. If a driver says he's going to do that, you want to see what they're going to do. And I mean, there's no doubt in our mind, because he did it later in the race, he was going to do it, but didn't even get the opportunity to go out there and race. And I mean, he probably would have been in top 5 contention, if I'm being humble. It would have been cool to see him actually go out there and compete for the win. But to not even get that opportunity, that's real heartbreak for the 9 team. So I don't know how you do that as a top level Xfinity Series team. And I don't know, I feel like you got to hit all those check boxes, and I don't know what happened there. I don't know if you heard on the radio before I joined in, but complete heartbreak.
Yeah. I mean, this is why we need practice, but whatever.
Yeah, I agree, though. That's really, kind of disappointing to see a guy, whether you love or hate Noah Gragson, he is one of the most exciting people on the planet in our sport. So to have him be a non-factor so early in the race, really, like I said, kind of takes away from the action and the excitement. So really cool to see him be able to get back in this race later.
Yeah, definitely. And then some drama at the end of stage 1. We had Austin Cindric and AJ Allmendinger tangling together, exiting the final chicane. Just hard racing between both of them. AJ Allmendinger going for the block, Cindric just kind of getting all over his ass, and resulted in the Dinger not being able to race anymore, and Cindric having some substantial damage, but didn't affect him later in the race. But yeah, just kind of stupid racing towards the end of this first stage.
Well, it completely changed how the rest of the race, because before the race, we were all thinking 22 and 16 are going to run the show. Even Drew Blickensderfer was up in the broadcast booth, and even he was like, man, I don't want to be bored sitting up here with just the 22 and 16 running up there all day. So those two taking each other out opened the door for some other drivers. So I think it just made the race a little bit better. But yeah, like you said, Ian, I don't know why they were doing that for the end of stage 1, but it is what it is.
Well, listen, I think in this day and age, stage points and stage wins matter a lot. That extra playoff point is a big boost. We've seen it carry a couple years ago, Kyle Busch racked up all those playoff extra points, and that carried him through a very mediocre playoff run all the way into the championship where he turned it on. So they're valuable. If you can go get those points, you kind of have to go do it. But do you really want to be battling that hard at the expense of the whole race? That's really kind of, for me, where the balance kind of comes in. So, yeah. I guess really fortunate that Cindric was able to get back in the race the way he did, but you really put yourselves in a spot where, 2 guys who are the favorites just kind of in some fisticuffs that maybe really didn't need to happen.
Yeah, racing when you don't really need to be racing, because they don't give you the checker flag at the end of stage 1. Right. And like you said, they both got taken out of contention. Well, I guess Cindric came back a little bit, but man, that's, if you got to feel for Allmendinger, because that's one of those races he has circled to win. So not a smart move on really either of their part. They're being so aggressive.
Yeah, definitely. Well, at least we know that Dinger can win on ovals now, so definitely gonna look out for that when he goes to Homestead this weekend. But yeah, then Cindric, he still won stage 1 after that little bit of controversy there, and then we had the young Ty Gibbs in his first ever Xfinity start. He went on to win stage 2. So good for him, showing lots of speed, man.
Yeah.
I think we're still speechless about that.
Yeah. I guess I'll just get into it. We had Ty Gibbs. He was charging from 12th to 3rd from NASCAR overtime before they called the caution back. Noah Gragson, he was finally able to get back on the lead lap until he got taken out on the final restart there. And then Ty Gibbs, you guys saw he went through the grass. It looked like he just plowed right through. I thought his splitter was going to be absolutely destroyed, but he was able to hold it off Austin Cindric, and he got his first ever Xfinity Series win and his first ever Xfinity Series start. That is just unbelievable. The kid's 18 years old, obviously the grandson of Coach Joe Gibbs. Just absolutely amazing story.
I couldn't believe it. Mike, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You're on it.
Okay, well, I just couldn't believe it. You want to talk about the real deal of up and coming through the ranks, and you got to put Ty Gibbs at the top of your list. I said it in our season preview that I think that Ty Gibbs and Sam Mayer are going to be the next two superstars of the sport. But Ty going out there in his first race on the Daytona Road Course of all places, and just putting on a clinic, and the 22 and the 16 taking each other out really opened the door for that. But Ty just looked good all race long, and then I thought he was done for when he ran through the grass like that. But the Xfinity composite bodies, man, they're something else. But absolutely speechless after that. Ty Gibbs is going to be a superstar, and he just added 14 more races to his schedule after that. So we're going to see a lot more of this kid, and I cannot wait to see what his future holds, because he's going to be something else. He is the absolute real deal. I don't care what his last name is or who his family ties are. You got to still be able to drive the race car, and Ty put on a show.
Yeah, them checkered flags will really keep giving you opportunities, huh? So, yeah, I was absolutely amazed by this performance. I mean, we all know who Ty Gibbs is, and we all know that he was going to be one of the up-and-coming stars in NASCAR. There was a point in this race where him and Harrison Burton were battling for the lead. I want to say kind of late in the first stage, or maybe early in the second stage. I just remember thinking to myself, oh, that's kind of cool. Two of the up-and-coming guys, maybe they won't battle for the lead too long here, because Cindric's coming back. But cool little preview for what could be in NASCAR next 5-6 years. Boy, was I wrong.
Yeah. To add to that, I mean, how many drivers have we seen kind of come through Toyota, whether it's Kyle Busch, KBM, or even these Gibbs Xfinity cars? They just don't win. They don't win out. They don't get it done. And this kid, the amount of experience he has, comes in. You talked about at a road course. He didn't fluke into a Daytona win. He didn't fluke into a fuel mileage. He went out there and drove the wheels off that thing at a road course and spanked those guys, and was putting that car in places a lot of guys were afraid to put it. And like in his debut, and won. The part that impressed me the most was kind of his patience and just how he just drove all day. Like there's so many times he could have just like sent it, but he's just being patient, just kind of just managing, running his own race. And at the end there, I mean, went out and grabbed it. But man, I just thoroughly impressed for somebody with that little of experience to run a race like that. Looked like a veteran driver out there. And debut road course Daytona. But now he has the 14 more races he talked about. What an unbelievable story. That's legendary. That's legit legendary status right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
The poise was out of this world. The poise and just the sheer determination. Could you imagine being an 18-year-old kid in the lead of that race, and here comes Austin Cindric?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, Austin Cindric, the best road course racer in the Xfinity Series right now, and you hold him off. That's unbelievable. Yeah, he's going to have a full-time ride next year, and he's going to be hunting for that championship. I'm already going to say he's going to be in the Final Four next season in the Xfinity Series.
Yeah, he doesn't even need to run trucks at this point. It's already proved he can go in an Xfinity car, so I fully expect him. Yeah, it's going to be wild.
When he pulled away from Harrison, I'm like, cut the check, get him in the car now. Like he's good to go.
Yep. Yeah, so congrats to Ty Gibbs. That was absolutely unbelievable to see. Now let's get into the Cup side of things. To start off, we had Kevin James. He's in the sitcom for Netflix, The Crew, right now. It's a little show for NASCAR, and he got to command the engines to fire up, and that was pretty cool to see. I always like Kevin James's enthusiasm. This is like his third time doing the command to start engines, and this was probably his least annoying one.
Yeah, it was a little bit slightly less mediocre than The Crew has been so far. So
you guys are killing. How about the pre-show segment with the rental cars of Boyer?
Yes. That was awesome. That was so cool for them to kind of recreate the Days of Thunder scene. And yeah, they just beat the hell out of those cars, man. I was a little worried, like when they were on, like, the bank turns on the oval, they were smashing into each other. Like, oh my God, they're not wearing, like, any helmets or anything. They're tearing off the mirrors. Jeff Gordon was holding the goddamn headlight. Like, what the hell? Yeah. That was amazing content. And that's what, like, NASCAR needs right now, is them just kind of do those awesome pre-race segments like that.
Dude, Clint Boyer is the best thing that has happened to the Fox booth and God knows how long. They needed it. He is just absolutely killing it with them right now. And I just feel so much more energy coming out of that booth because, not to dig on Mike and Jeff, but those are some snoozers the past couple of years. So I'm happy Boyer's in there now because they're exciting broadcasts to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you guys know I grew up a huge Jeff Gordon fan, but last year's broadcast were like watching NASCAR race with two guys in a library where every once in a while they might go, oh, look at that. Oh, look over here. So yeah, Clint has been the comedic relief that they've needed, and it's just taken the entertainment value for Fox to a whole different level. So Fox, if you're watching, take notes. This is the kind of content we want, and this is the kind of content we need.
Yeah, NBC, they're going to have to do a lot to compete this year with Fox, because Fox is just killing it so far, and we're only 2 races in.
Yep.
All right, so yeah, that was an exciting start, and then we had Michael McDowell. He started second from his great Daytona 500 finish that he had last week, and then kind of overshot the turn and just fell all the way back mid-pack.
I think Michael still thought he was in the Daytona 500.
It humbles you real quick. You winner the race, and then first corner the next one, you're dead last, man. That's a heartbreaker.
Yeah, no kidding. And then more trouble. We had Kyle Busch getting some fender damage on the first lap as well. Everyone just trying to make their way through this road course. That sucks for Kyle Busch to get that amount of damage that early in the race.
It's one of those drivers you like to see have a piece underneath him to try to drive and put on a show, and taking away lap 1.
yeah, he was my pick on the show last week, and I was like, oh great, my pick's already out the window. And then we had Mr. Road Course himself, Chase Elliott. He went on to win stage 1. I mean, go figure, the guy is just an absolute beast on these tracks.
Yeah, Death, Taxes, and Clyde being awesome on road courses. You can take it to the bank, boys.
Yep. And then we had 11 laps into stage 2, and Ross Chastain got loose exiting turn 6. He hit the wall hard, ending his day. That sucked to see. His second race in with Chip Ganassi Racing, and he's out. And a really cool McDonald's paint scheme too. I really like that.
It's just simple and it's beautiful.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. I love the simple schemes.
Exactly. And then we had Denny Hamlin going on to win stage 2. So some precious points for him going into the year. And then we had, with 32 to go, Kurt Busch gave us a little show. He was leading the race, and he got a little loose going through the infield road course, slipping, sliding through the grass. He was able to keep the car untouched. But that was a pretty good move by Kurt to keep the thing clean.
Absolutely.
And then we had Tyler Reddick bringing out the caution with 12 to go. He got into the grass and just absolutely destroyed the front end of his car to the point where it caught on fire. they had to get him out of there. So not a good first 2 races for Tyler Reddick, where he wrecked out at the Daytona 500 and now this. So definitely needs to have a good weekend at Homestead
Oh, well, that's easily hit one of his best tracks. Him and Larson both are the kings of the top up there. So I look forward to seeing what Tyler can do on Sunday.
Same, yeah.
Oh yeah. And then Kyle Larson, he was racing hard against his old teammate Kurt Busch, and got a little loose and went into the tire barrier, slammed hard into there. So, but it was good to see that Kyle Larson, he was getting a little racy. You know, he was racing for a top spot. So it's good to see him getting, you know, adjusted back into NASCAR again, and he's racing for, you know, a win.
Yeah, it was one where, you know, he obviously didn't run the road course last year. And then having, you know, just jumped into a brand new car, brand new team. You could kind of watch his race. He was kind of cautious at first, just trying to get the braking zones down, and then got a little more confident, pushed it a little more. And then he started getting really aggressive, really racy towards the end of the race. So it looked like he was getting really confident with his car and with his abilities again, right at towards the end of that race.
Yeah, definitely. All right, and then we had with 7 to go in the race, Kyle Busch just adding more to his horrible race. He slammed his car into the wall after contact with Austin Dillon. And
yeah, what was that?
I think Chris Buescher and Austin Dillon, they were like racing hard. They were like on the grass on the front stretch or something, and Kyle Busch was like right there on the outside. And then they all like beat and bang or something, and then Austin Dillon just sends Kyle into the wall. So just a big mess, just stupid racing with 7 to go.
Well, listen, I just want to point out, Ian, we need way more of those hand gestures in the podcast going forward. That was incredible.
I try my best. I try my best to bring out the Italian in me for you.
There you go.
We had Chase Elliott. I forgot about this. He spun out trying to cross over in front of Denny Hamlin, trying to get behind Brad Keselowski. So the road course king himself spun himself out at the Daytona Road Course with only a few laps to go.
Yeah, and he had some fisticuffs going with Super Shoe too. Him and Corey LaJoy had a little I spin you, so you spin me. Yeah. So Corey, I love you, man, but maybe not the fight you want to pick. And also too, Chase, love you, but also maybe not the fight you want to pick. Like, you really want to be starting stuff with a guy that's going to be running that much further back in the pack than you. Only going to hurt you when you come to lap him later in the season.
No kidding. No kidding. And then, guys, 2 laps to go. Christopher Bell, we had him hunting down Joey Logano for the lead. It was absolutely amazing to see him catch up to him. He was able to pass Joey in the front stretch chicane with 2 laps to go, able to hold him off and get his first career NASCAR Cup Series victory. That was absolutely amazing to see.
Who had Michael McDowell and Christopher Bell winning the first 2 races on their bingo cards? And for Christopher Bell, this was not the track I was thinking he was going to get his first career win on, but he was good all race long, and he was just there at the end, and he really just had the best car there at the end. It was crazy to see, but good for him. Hopefully the curse of the Gibbs 20 car can come to an end now that he's been to victory lane. I only expect more good things out of Bell the rest of the season. But yeah, definitely not the track I was thinking he was getting his first win at, but kudos to the kid. He's an absolute wheelman.
Yeah, it's really good to see a little redemption for him too, because he was kind of the donkey coming out of the Daytona 500, being right in the middle of starting the lap 15 super wreck. Yeah.
I got to add, I mean, we talked about this with Ty Gibbs, but for somebody to get their first win in the Cup Series, similar fashion, and go out there and pass a Cup champion, reeled him in. I mean, he was running with Chase Elliott earlier in the race, and he was running top 5. But to go out there and just take that race, that's for your first career win. I think that's as cool as it gets. Like we talked about, it wasn't a rain shortened deal. He earned that win. We did get the caution that came out with the rain, but he went out and took that thing. So the incredibly impressive drive. And I got to add to the 20 car kind of history. As a Tony Stewart fan, I kind of enjoyed that Joey Logano didn't have too much success in it. But then they put Matt Kenseth in, and then Matt Kenseth goes and performs. Then they kick the champion out again. The champion leaves the 20 car. Then you get Eric Jones in there. It doesn't, I mean, he got some wins, but it didn't live up to the 20 standard.
Yeah.
But now, so they kind of went through another down year. So maybe the 20 is coming back to kind of what Matt Kenseth and Tony did with it. So I think that'd be kind of exciting for fans of the 20 car.
The Phoenix rises from the ashes, brother. All right, everybody. Well, that will do it for our Daytona Road Course review. You boys got anything else to add?
Just kind of excited to get back to oval racing.
For oval
I like
racing.
to-
Absolutely. I feel like, to me, it just feels like the season is starting now that we're
yeah.
finally leaving
Yep.
Daytona. It's weird that we were there 2 weeks in a row, but now it's time to. Homestead's one of my favorite 1.5 mile tracks, so
Yep.
I'm excited for this one.
Absolutely. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for tuning into the Stock Car Spectacle. Make sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure to follow me, Nick, and Mike on Twitter and Instagram, along with the Stock Car Spectacle account. Make sure to follow our buddy Rusty Walrus on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. What else you got, Rusty?
I'm registered everywhere, but I'm always active on Twitter. I live on Twitter, so if you at me or you DM me, I'm literally open to talking NASCAR with anyone and everyone. I love the sport. So yeah, just hit me up and we'll talk.
There we go. We'd love to hear that. We'd love to hear that. All right, everybody. So make sure to check out our merchandise on spreadshirt.com, designed by the one and only Dalton Good. So make sure to check that out. We'll have the link below, and make sure to check out Kodo's Mojo this week. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Ian Jortson.
I'm Mike Gamble.
And I'm Nick Kinsel.